Now our next guest had it all. A high-flying career, paid trips to Hawaii and a six-figure salary. But that success came at a price. Maria Sweeney had to completely sacrifice her personal life.
And she's here to tell her story. We also have psychotherapist Stella O'Malley with us. You're both very welcome
See you
to
guys.
us. Hello.
How are you?
Good. It sounds like the perfect life. Hawaii, lots of money.
Yeah, that was the lure, all right, yeah.
Yes, but you had to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah, it was a corporate job, and obviously with that there's a certain amount of hours and expectations that go with it. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary compared to what thousands of other people are doing as well. But it was a high pressure job because it was sales based. Not only does the pressure come from the company, but it also comes from the pressure you put on yourself. I think you have to be a certain type of person to work in that industry and in that job.
And was it an American firm?
It was an American
company.
And
a software company.
Yeah, software
so
company,
Americans, you know, they push hard.
Absolutely. And they're all about, you know, we work hard and we play hard.
Yeah.
But they just work hard. Like, this is kind of all there is to it, you know.
So you went to school and college, and was the plan then to get a job with a great salary, flying all around the world? Was that the plan at an early stage?
Not really, no. It was something I fell into. I worked for Dell Computers when I moved to London when I was 18, did a couple of years there and then came home. And fell into a job in Dell, but it was a sales job, and it was like we were 20, 21, and it was like a license to print money. It was like being in college, but with earning like unlimited money. So it was like, that's addictive. Do you know, when you have that kind of earning potential, it's uncapped.
Yeah, you're also used to a certain type of lifestyle. But you know the type of job you're in then, you know, you probably surrounded yourself with people in the same kind of job, moved in the same circles. Yeah. And you were young and probably able for it.
Totally, that's the thing. Like when you're in your 20s, you're hungry, you're money driven, you're motivated by promotion and like professional status and all that. But that has a short lifespan. And you see people do it all the time. You know, they throw themselves into a career in their 20s, and then by the time they reach their late 20s, early 30s, they're completely done.
And you were burnt out.
What type of hours were you working a week?
Like, it would depend, but in order to, because it was such a competitive environment, the more you're there, the better you're going to do, because the more time you spend on the phone,
feeding
the more
into the whole thing all the time.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
So like you'd be in, I mean, I was commuting from Greystones into Dublin, so I'd be leaving the house at 6 or 7, which again isn't unusual for a lot of people, but it's you land at your desk and it's just an intense 10-hour stint. Yeah, exactly.
You're full on. Stella, you're nodding your head at everything here. This is very, very common. Is it how you can get, I suppose, dragged into a job like that, and how the job itself then feeds into who you are?
It's unbelievable how many clients come to me and they hate their job. They did at one stage, they loved it. That's how they got into it. But a few years down the road, they hate it. And they can't quite let go. They've fallen into a whole lifestyle, and they honestly think this is my only option. And they find it really difficult when I point out that they're taking antidepressants, they're coming to see me, they're paying money to see me, and all that they really need to do is leave their job. That actually, it's quite patently obvious that they hate their job.
But the actual point where you come to burnout stage, that's probably a lot of people would come to you then. And Maria, when did you know that you hit the wall, that you could not go on in this job?
I think it had been building for about a year and a half, and like in hindsight, I should have left the corporate world at that point. But I was determined not to admit defeat or say like I'm not able for this anymore. So it was one morning I was walking to work, and I'd had a particularly bad sort of run of it. I'd joined this company a year before, and I wasn't doing well, and I wasn't used to not doing well. I was used to performing well, and in this job, it wasn't happening for me. And my sister had texted me that morning on the way to work, and she said, "You know, are you okay? I haven't heard from you in a while." She lives in London, and I sort of, at that point, you know, when someone's really nice to you, like you've got a wall up and you're
I'm fine.
Keeping on, I'm fine, exactly, yeah. Don't ask me any questions.
The wall's cracking all over the place.
Exactly. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I, like, at that point, just crumbled when I went, "No, I'm not okay." And, you know, I'm not able for this anymore. But I wasn't actually able to admit that yet. It was, she had to coax it out of me and say, you know, why are you under so much pressure? Why are you doing this to yourself? And it was totally self-imposed pressure. Yes, you get it from the job, but it's your own.
It was also at this stage probably your identity, Stella. And do you find that when people like Maria would come to you, I mean, what do you see? What are the signs you see in people when you know it's time to change?
Well, generally it's coming out in a different way. They come to me because of their anxiety. They come to me because of their panic attacks, or because of their depression, or because they're drinking too much. It's not actually because I hate my job, but then after a few sessions, it's quite obvious that their lifestyle is creating their upset. And that's suddenly, there's generally a dawning of, oh God, so this is a vicious circle that you're choosing to live. And then it's up to me as a psychotherapist to kind of say, well, you do have a choice in life. And they will generally resist that to the day.
Yeah.
But it's easy to say you have choices to make then, Maria, but how hard is it to actually make that choice then to actually say, okay, I have to change here or something really bad's going to happen?
Well, like my situation is, I was a lot luckier than a lot of people in that I was presented with the option of doing this. My sister had said to me, look, I will help you financially if this is what you want to do.
Did that take a big burden off your shoulders, the financial part of it?
Of course. Do you know, I'm sure everyone out there wants to do what they really love.
But you know what I love about you? Totally changed direction. You went from being a high-tech job to a dog groomer.
Yeah, a manky dog groomer.
Well, number one, as a lover of dogs and as a person who had a dog for many, many years who needed regular grooming, I appreciate people like you. Dog grooming, that is so opposite. Yeah. Did you always, or you love animals,
No,
obviously?
I love dogs. I didn't like, we were talking, my sister and I, about like how I could work with dogs, how I could do something that I love. And she was like, what about hairdressing a dog? Because we've always had like battles with our hairs over the years, you know, GHDs and all that. Yeah. And we were like, oh my God, hairdressing and dogs. It's like
if you went back a few years earlier and if somebody said that to you when you were in the middle of the high-power job flying all over...
I'd have looked down my nose at it and thought, no, like, not in a million years. Yeah, totally.
So what is it now? Is it just the realisation that, hang on, I've that all behind me, I've tried it, didn't really work, and this is where I'm happy? Yeah,
once you let go of the stigma attached to being successful or being...
you were invested in it, didn't you say that?
Yeah.
You'd built up this kind of
idea
of who you were.
That was what defined me, was how successful I was.
In your own head?
In my own head,
In the corporate world. You can get that though, Stella, can't you? You can understand
I think we're all like that in some way though.
And even in a job like we have, whatever, the job defines you. And I suppose that's it, Stella. It shouldn't define you, should it?
Well, no, it shouldn't, and there should be more than one thing that defines you. You know what I mean? There's more than one thing to make your identity. But often, if you've worked very hard, if you've studied, if you've actually gone up a ladder, and then to throw it all away, it's very, very brave and courageous to say, actually, I'm going on to another ladder. That takes guts and courage.
She had that.
She did, but I find that the people who won't, they'll be saying, oh, sure, she had her sister, and they'll kind of give themselves an out. People who are listening, and they'll say, oh, I don't have that out. And I would argue, actually, if you don't leave a job you hate, you will end up with some sort of mental distress. You will end up inevitably. It's going to
be very sick as well. That's
you will, You're going to. It's going to kick off on some level.
Great. What is the dog grooming called?
Vanity Fur.
Vanity Fur
in Greystones.
Vanity Fur in Greystones. Get down. Thank you so much, Maria. Thanks very much for coming in. Yes, everyone can change. Everyone. There's something else for everyone in the world. Great advice there.